Now let's go a little further into the past simple, which is a very important tense. One of the most common tenses we use in the English language.
If you are a beginner level student, please turn on the subtitles in the language of your choice.
So let's begin. What is a regular verb? A regular verb is a verb that ends in ed in the past simple. So for example, a verb like walk, I walk. If I change this to the past simple, all I have to do is add ed to the end. I walked. Another example, play. He plays in the present simple, or the past simple, he played. We cook. In the past simple, we cooked. I want to eat lunch. I wanted to eat lunch. Now for the past simple, there are no verb conjugations. We simply add ed to the verb for all subjects. I worked, he worked, she worked, he worked, and so on. Now to form the negative is really easy. All we need to do is use didn't before the main verb for all subjects. For example, I didn't work yesterday. He didn't work yesterday. She didn't work yesterday for all subjects. Another example, I didn't watch a movie last night. They didn't watch a movie last night. We didn't watch a movie last night. Very easy. To form a question, we do the same as what we did with present simple questions, and that is we start the question with the auxiliary verb. For example, did I work yesterday? Did you study yesterday? Now notice in the question, because the auxiliary verb is in the past simple, did, we do not need to change the main verb into the past tense. The main verb remains in the infinitive form without the ed. So, did you work yesterday? It is not correct to say did you worked with an ed, not necessary. Now let's look at some important spelling rules for the past simple of regular verbs. For most verbs, it is very easy to change the verb to the past simple. If the verb is regular, we simply add ed. For example, play, played, work, worked, listen, listened. All of those verbs, we just add ed. Now in the future, I will make a class about the pronunciation of these verbs because that can be a little challenging. But first, let's look at the spelling. Now, if we have a verb, for example, like, which ends in a silent e, when we change this verb to the past tense, we do not add an extra e, we simply add the d. Like, liked. Another verb, love, loved. Notice in those verbs, we simply add the letter D. The next rule is for verbs ending in a vowel and a single consonant. For example, hop. Now to change this verb to the past tense, we must double the last consonant before adding an ed. So hop becomes hopped. Double P, ed. Another verb, tap, tapped. Double P, ed. This verb hum, which means make a sound with your voice without actually speaking. For example, hum in the past tense would be hummed. Double M, ed. So we've doubled the consonant before adding the ed. And the last important rule for spelling, when we have a verb that ends in a consonant before a y, for example, study, we change the final y to an I and then we add ed. So the verb study becomes studied. Now this rule only applies if it is a consonant before the y, not a vowel. Now let's summarize what we've learned in this lesson. Now remember, we only change the verb to the past simple in an affirmative sentence, not in the question and not in a negative answer. Now let's review questions, affirmative and negative answers. Feel free to write your response to some of these questions in the comments below. I'd love to hear your answers. So, did you work yesterday? How would you respond affirmatively and negatively? I'll help you with this first one. Did you work yesterday? If I'm responding, I would say, yes, I worked yesterday. Work with ed. Now, if my answer was negative, I would say, no, I didn't work yesterday. Now remember, I'm using didn't, therefore I do not add the ed to the main verb. I didn't work. Answer these questions for me. Did you travel last month? Did you watch a movie in the last week? Did you go to a restaurant recently? Tell me what you've been doing recently. I hope this lesson has helped you understand the structure of the past simple in English for regular verbs. We will soon cover the topic of pronunciation because that is a very important topic, and we'll look at irregular verbs in the next lesson. See you in the next one.